The future of Mass Effect is unclear. Depending on how long the time skip is in between games, there could only be a small few companions left in the Milky Way, and if most of our non-Asari and Krogan crew members have passed into the Great Beyond, then there's a case for an interstitial game starring Garrus. Garrus is Shepard's right-hand man, their first mate if you will. He's one of only two people who stands by his commander for the entire trilogy. As such, he receives far more development than most of the other companions. This character growth makes him a prime candidate for a leading role. He's beloved by the fans and intricate enough to carry a Mass Effect spin-off. Now you may be thinking, Garrus can't be a protagonist, he's a well-defined character, the player can't make his choices for him, it would be out of character for him to go renegade. I don't think that's true. Garrus's evolution over the trilogy is quite drastic. On the one hand, he starts off as a bright-eyed sidekick agent who wants to do more good in the galaxy but is restricted by bureaucracy. On the other hand, he's the ruthless Archangel who brings retribution and justice to any criminals on Omega, and he doesn't let anyone hold him down. He's also got a burning thirst for vengeance that he'll happily fulfill if Shepard doesn't step in. These extremes have given Garrus a multi-layered personality that always believes in the greater good and justice, but he's more than willing to get his hands dirty to realize his ideals. This is almost identical to how Shepard operates. They are either optimistically pure and will always make the morally correct choice, or they'll make the choice that benefits the mission and eliminate anyone standing in their way of achieving their ultimate goal of taking down the Reapers. What this means is, there aren't as many choices that we as Shepard make in Mass Effect that would be impossible for Garrus to make, as he's got both a good heart and violent tendencies. But what would this game be about? Would it be an origin story exploring life as a sidekick agent that culminates in an event where Garrus isn't allowed to act, disillusioning the organization in his eyes and spurring him to join Shepard? Is it a story about what happens to the Normandy crew after the apparent death of their commander? The family tries to stay together, but ends up falling apart, and then Garrus makes a name for himself on Omega. No, I think the game has to be set after Mass Effect 3 so that BioWare can show us the definitive choices at the end of the game. There is no way that BioWare can respect every ending, at least not without massively compromising the story, so it's imperative that they put their foot down and decide what Shepard canonically did in their final moments. So I think a Garrus game that sets up 4 would be the most helpful option, but what would the story be about and why would Garrus need to be the one to tell it? Well, now that the Reaper's common threat has been vanquished, all bets are off between the species once again. These aliens are all still highly selfish, and I can see races like the Solarians and the Quarians immediately resuming war with their old enemies now that they've been weakened. This isn't even mentioning the rogue Cerberus cells, pirate gangs, and any other villains who would exploit war for their gains. Shepard's crew, who united all those races in the first place, would be the ones to end the alien conflict once and for all. As all the companions look to someone to replace their commander, their eyes unanimously rest on the Turian, who sets off to take down the villains of the galaxy. There's also the plot thread of his romance with Tali. Provided Shepard doesn't romance either of them, Tali will end up with Garrus, and a game with only one romance partner would have a much stronger relationship than any other RPG love interest. Tali and Garrus have such wonderful chemistry together. Her boundless optimism and adorable personality play so well with his dense and stoic persona that they seem to be an entertaining couple. Of course, there's the issue of what if Shepard romanced Tali. Well, to that I say, so what? If your partner dies, that doesn't mean your happiness has to die with them. I mean, you probably won't go dating when the bodies are still warm, but it's more than fair to meet someone else to fill the hole in your heart. And it's not like you have to worry about Tali not being romanceable in the next game, because she and Garrus might be long dead by the time Shepard rises. And as Shepard's eyes flutter open, they'll see their only true love they ever had standing over them, Liara, who should be confirmed as the canon romance option, so we can romantically reconcile our centuries-old love in Mass Effect 4. Either way, I think having a short minigame made by a small team in BioWare to help tide us over for the upcomingly exhaustively long wait for the next game would be an excellent allocation of resources. and a way for us to say a proper goodbye to all the companions whose lifespans won't allow them to reunite with their commander. Leading that pack should be Garrus, as he bids his family farewell, and they'll scatter to the corners of the galaxy to fulfill their destinies on their homeworlds. I'll be back in 2 days. In the meantime, here's an essay about humanity's effect on the Mass Effect universe.